Howdy, and welcome to the F1 Hatchet. This is the 2023 season predictions. Let's see how the drivers stand up in my predictions for the 2023 season. As you can see here, I have Logan Sargent, our American driver for Williams, starting off at the end of the pack in 20th position. I think he's a decent driver, but he's going to even give some fight to Alex Albon, but Alex Albon's going to end up winning that battle over the season due to his experience in that car that he's had in the last couple of years. So Alex Albon will end up in 19th. And right above him is going to be Yuki Tsunoda and the AlphaTauri. I don't think the AlphaTauris are actually going to be that good this year. They're still going to struggle. And so I think Yuki's going to be at 18th. And I think his teammate, Nick DeVries, is actually going to surpass him. I think Nick DeVries is going to be the leader of that team. I think Yuki still has a ways to learn and try to grow into that Formula One car. We will see how that progresses throughout the season. I know he's grown the last couple seasons, but I still don't think he's the leader for that team. I think Nick DeVries, with his other experience, will come in and lead that team and probably win out over Yuki. Now we get Oscar in that McLaren. There was a big controversy last year of how he got pulled into the McLaren team. I know he's a good driver, but I don't think the McLarens are actually going to do that well. I think they're going to slip back this year, just from what I've heard from the preseason testing, having issues with that car, changing directions on their aerodynamic chassis. So it's going to push them back into the field for, their ability to make modifications to that throughout the year. Hopefully I'm wrong, because I like McLaren, but I think that's going to be pushing them back into the field. Next, we have at 15th spot, we have Juan Yu Zhou with Alfa Romeo. He does make some improvement this season, but he's still going to get quite a bit outpaced by his teammate. But he's still going to beat some of the other comers in this season. So he's going to round up at 15th. Pierre Gasly switching teams to Alpine. I think he's still going to have a little bit of struggle with that Alpine, trying to get in place. So we'll see how that works out with Ocon and how that team dynamic works. I think they're going to slip it back a little bit in that Alpine as since they were from last season, but I think they're going to be in that mid-pack fighting. And you have Nico Hülkenberg coming back into the Haas, the nice, great super sub, finally getting a full-time position with Haas, giving that experience. I think they're going to help push him and K-Mag up the field. I think K-Mag is still going to win out over him just because of the experience dealing with the team, but I think Nico is going to do decently. Then you get Lando Norris at 12th. I said he's a great driver, but I think that McLaren's going to slip back because of their issues at the beginning of this season that I've seen or heard. I haven't actually got to see the full preseason testing, but what I've heard from the bits and pieces that I've caught, that McLaren is having some mechanical issues and a little bit of aerodynamic spot. So they're going to have a new update. I think 3 races in already that they're hopefully switching that aerodynamic. So we'll see how off I am on these predictions, because I'm sure, as I'm just a fan, and these predictions are going to be wildly off, and we'll see how bad I'm off at the end of the season. Then we get Lance Stroll. He has that broken wrist, so he couldn't make the preseason testing. But I think he's going to still do fairly well, but not quite as good as his teammate. So he's going to round up the bottom 11 aspects of that standing here. So coming to the top 10, we have K-Mag at 10th. I think, as I said, he was going to get pushed by his new teammate and help him push him up into the field. I think Haas has done a fairly good job, and they still get a fairly amount of testing in the simulators and stuff with for this season. So I think they'll have a chance of actually fighting for that good midfield. And you have Ocon in that Alpine coming in ninth. I think they had some of that kind of controversy with their boss and the teammates going which way and where, but I think he's going to still come out in ninth. And then we have steady Valtteri Bottas with that Alfa Romeo in eighth, outpacing his teammate quite a bit still, but I think that will still help them prevail. And then we get to the Mercedes, George Russell. I think he's going to slip back a little bit with a couple of other teams, and I don't think that Mercedes is quite ready for that fight for the first front field of Red Bull and Ferrari, but we will see. Hopefully I'm wrong there as well. Hopefully there's at least a three-way battle for that first position. But I have George Russell coming in at seventh, and then we have Fernando Alonso. Actually, he's making his way up to sixth. I don't think he's going to have quite the car to really push up farther than that, but he has that experience and that drive still, and you've seen what he can do with any kind of race car. So I have him at sixth, and then that right below Lewis Hamilton and the other Mercedes coming in at fifth. I think that's pretty much the next set of cars that are going to come in this season, as I think Ferrari and Red Bull are basically going to be the ones that are battling it out throughout the season. So we have Sergio Perez. I think I can't give him fourth. I think the Ferraris have made a jump. Hopefully that their change in bosses hasn't, made them struggle too much. So we'll see how they come out. But I have them getting pushed up. I think he's still going to get outdone by his teammate, Charles. So we'll see how that works for him. But I have Charles at number 2, right behind Max Verstappen, who I think is, again, going to make his third championship. So I think at this point, Max is going to win, but then the Ferrari is going to be right behind him, followed by Max's teammate, Sergio Perez, and then the Mercedes and Fernando Alonso are going to round up that top midsection right below the top 2. So we'll see how that progresses. Coming to the Constructor Championship. So as you can see, I have Williams rounding out the end still, but I think they're going to get closer to AlphaTauri. AlphaTauri is going to be near the bottom, just getting outdone by McLaren, and Haas just outdoing McLaren as well. So I think McLaren's going to drop back, hopefully not that far, but we'll see. I think Alfa Romeo is going to stay roughly where they were last year. Alpine's going to jump up. It sounds like, Alpine's going to drop down just a tad bit. Aston Martin is going to jump up. I've heard good things from them on that preseason aerodynamics, that they've made a pretty good leap forward. So I have them at third. Some of the Formula One commentary people have done that as well that I've seen. So we'll see how good that prediction is, or if they don't match up to what the preseason hype is with them. Then we get Mercedes, who's the closest to the Red Bulls and Ferraris, but not going to be a super fight with them. And then I have Red Bull coming in second, even though Max won the championship. I think the Red Bull aren't going to have the consistency over Ferrari. I think Ferrari's going to have the two teammates closer together, beating out Red Bull for the Constructors' Championship. So, with that rundown, where does your driver fit in, and then how wrong do you think I am? Because I am sure you think I am completely off kilter on any of these predictions, so let me know in the comments how you think your drivers are going to line up. Till next time, we will be here back next week for the first race, and I hope to see you here. Thank you so much, and see you on the grid.